Hi, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Monroe, Washington.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Hey guys, we've loved answering all of your questions so far. If you'd like to hear your question on the podcast, please send them to us on Instagram at wheeltalkpodcast or by email to wheeltalkpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks. We call them tags.
Tabs. They're tabs.
I don't know about that, but all right.
They are.
Regional.
Hello.
Hi, Becca.
Hi. We're live.
We're live. I haven't seen that apron before. Do you wear that very much?
No, my mom made it for me for my birthday, and it's been in hiding. It's macarons.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
It is.
How are you?
I'm good. You've got a nice little... You're like, is the day over yet?
Not yet.
You still got some time tonight. I'll be done after this, so... Yeah, it's been, it feels like a regular day. I don't know. It's Tuesday. Happy late Thanksgiving, I guess.
Yeah. Your mom got her mystery box today and your stickers.
She did. She was so excited. She was like, Becca loves me.
Of course I love her. And it was funny when Andrew was the one that packed it, and she wanted owls, so we put some owls in there, and then we didn't have enough owls, so we put one that had 3 owls in it that was already painted. And then there was like more room in the box, and I was like, just throw some fucking
Fill it up.
Yeah, I was like, just throw everything in there. Just throw pinch pots in there. Do anything. And so we took it to the UPS store, and it was rattling with like pinch pots. And I was like, God, I hope that this survives. But who knows?
I didn't hear her say anything about
only one thing broke, but it was like an ornament that was wrapped in paper. Everything else was wrapped in cardboard.
One of the bisque ones. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, she was so excited. She was saying how much it was worth. It was like $100 worth or $75 worth or some crazy number like that. She was like, this is so exciting. I got so much stuff.
She got more than everybody else, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Becca connections. Yeah, so the day was pretty, I don't know. Got in the studio a little bit, finished a few things from yesterday, like mugs and oil bottles, and unloaded a glaze kiln that came out pretty good. And yeah, just kind of restocking shot glasses, spoon rests, stuff like that and loaded my car for my farmer's market that I'm doing tomorrow.
Nice.
So, luckily it's indoors because, like I told you, it snowed for the first time.
Yeah.
Today or this morning or last night or whatever, so it actually stuck.
How much
it
snow?
Wasn't anything significant. It was like probably half an inch or something, but it was
enough
to
get a
the
lot
ground
of
was
snow
cold
there?
enough to where it's stuck. Not really. I mean, last year was pretty mild.
Like, what's not really?
I don't know the inches that we get on average for a year.
That's not what I'm asking.
What's not really? I mean,
like, is it like 2 weeks of snow? Like 12 weeks of snow?
No. No. At most, we'll have 3 days of snow or something.
What? We get more snow than you?
Do you mean the time it takes for the snow to hit land and melt again? Or, like, we don't have snowfall that's going to fall enough to where they clear the roads off and it's going to snow again in the next 2 or 3 days before that snow melts, usually.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't usually have piles and piles of snow.
So no snow days for you guys.
I mean, there are snow days, but it's probably like 3 a year. It's not, a week or 2 weeks worth.
When we get snow, it like dumps, and then everybody freaks out. It dumps for like a week and a half.
But yeah, they try to like brine the roads and stuff preemptively so that keeps them manageable. But yeah. I mean, we're not getting tons of snow that's sticking for days on end that people don't leave the house and stuff like that.
Like, you don't have 2 months of just constant snow on the ground, but not like bothersome?
No, it's melting usually within a week. We don't have snow sitting on the ground for longer than probably a week.
I was kind of looking forward to coming and having that, like, experience, like, snowy experience, but I guess I'm not going to have that.
I mean, it won't even snow until probably January, typically. Okay. January, February.
Wow.
So.
Cool.
Yeah. What about your day?
Wow, my day
you
fucking
had a hell
sucked.
of a day. Why is that? I mean, where are we at on status of the studio? I know we were kind of checking up on that each time we talked.
My weekend was fantastic. I'll start with that. I'm just having a bad moment right now.
You had a great sales weekend.
I had a great sales weekend. I made about $4,000.
Woo woo.
Yeah. And also I have $3,000 in cash, too. So I don't know where that came from, but that happened as well.
In cash? What do you mean by that? You just found a pot of $3,000 somewhere?
I literally have $3,000, like, in cash.
Oh, just a wad of cash?
Hold on.
Gosh. I want to see this.
Okay, and
I want to see you flip through this wad of cash.
No, I fold up my cash.
Make sure it's by the microphone so people can hear this.
I fold up my cash like a drug dealer.
Oh gosh, you just fold it in half.
I fold it in half every 100.
You're not rolling it or something. You gotta flip through it. Every 100?
Every 100.
Wait, that's... Oh my gosh. That's a big stack.
There's 1, 2...
Who does that? So
Four.
if you just have a $100 bill, you fold it in half?
7, yeah. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Because you can count it better. 12, 13.
I mean, I get that,
14,
but if you take that to the bank, they're going to be like, what are you, insane?
2, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. $3,200. I don't take this to the bank. I take this to my mechanic because my car's in the shop.
Oh.
He gets all of this.
He gets... Oh, man.
Warren, you get all the money.
Sad panda.
Yeah, seriously. And then, so I had a good sales weekend. I got most of the stuff, especially...
I've never seen anybody put their money like that.
Yeah, I learned it from a youth pastor apparently. That learned it from a drug dealer.
Jeez. I do the ones first, 5s, 10s, 20s.
No,
50s,
that's
100s.
Not the best way to do it.
You keep them all aligned properly.
Yeah, but what if you lose your place? See, if you just do every 100, fold it in half, and then you can just flip through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You know?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, so my car's in the shop because it's got a transmission issue. It's going to cost $3,000. My shop, I sold pretty much all the things in the front room. I just have to get them out of there. And so I'm going to have somebody come on Thursday, and he's going to take down all the shelves, everything, get them ready to go. Sold a lot of stuff, which is good.
What was it that you mostly sold? Was it Bisqueware and your... personal pots?
My pottery, and then I sold 31 mystery boxes in like an hour.
Holy crap. Those were all online people, or were those in person too?
Most of them were online. And
nice.
They were super cheap. It was just like $20.
$20, and you probably put, $60 worth of stuff in there at least.
Of really tiny pots. Yes.
But still, yeah.
But still. And then today I went to get a burrito at Chipotle like 15 miles away. And I was driving back and I was like, something's wrong with my car. Like, really wrong with my van. Keep in mind that my Subaru is at the shop right now with $3,000 in damages. And then my van, who's on its last leg anyway, I take it to Les Schwab and he's like, your driver's side brake caliper is seizing. It's going to cost $900 to fix it. Also, you need new tires, which are like $800.
Is that car even worth that?
No. So.
You just decked it out, though, so it's like.
No, I purposefully did not spend very much money on the inside.
Well, not decked it out, but you did do some improvements.
I put maybe $200 into it.
Okay.
In 3 days of my life. And, but it was a good project. I'm glad I did it, actually. Good learning experience. Anyway, So then I was talking to a friend who's a mechanic, and then another friend, and he was like, "You need to just sell that fucking van. Just sell the fucker for like $500 or $750, best offer." And then while we were doing our little story recap, I realized that I'm not even fucking kidding you. I just paid the tabs on that van for $65 yesterday.
Also, I'm calling this a regional thing. Never have I heard it be called a tab being your car registration. I call it a tag with a G.
I'm pretty sure they even say...
Never heard of that.
I'm going to look it up on the DOR.
By the way, wouldn't it... It doesn't even matter, right? When you transfer the ownership, wouldn't they need to have it registered anyway, so you just paid ahead?
Yeah, but I didn't need to. I didn't need to pay the $65.
Just add that onto the cost of what they're going to pay for it.
Fine.
Just be like, hey, the registration's already paid for. I mean, what'd you pay for registration anyways? What was it, like 60 or 70 bucks?
Tabs.
Never heard of that.
Renew your tabs. Renew your tabs.
Is that in Washington?
Yeah.
Okay, so you call it tabs.
They literally call it tabs on the website.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I think it's regional.
Must be. Anyway, so I'm pissed about that. So I think I'm just going to sell the van because I'd have to get new tires and I'd have to get new brakes and I'd have to get new rotors. That's going to be like $1,800.
The reason you were going to keep it was to have that be your vehicle in Washington.
Yeah.
If you return so you can get around, but...
What's the point? I'll just... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going to try and sell it. Maybe some crazy person that wants to make it a project van. I mean, it's all gutted anyway. They could sleep in there.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
I even just installed the seatbelt.
You did. I mean, you probably would have had to have that anyways to be able to sell it legally. Like, here's a van. It doesn't have seatbelts that work, but here you go.
Anyway, so that's my life today.
Yeah. I had a show this weekend, too.
How'd it go?
Finished up Westside Market for the season. It's my 5th time there. I sold almost $1,300 worth.
Nice.
So, pretty nice.
Nice.
I had a really good spot, too. I was right inside the entrance. I kind of like these COVID spacing deals because everybody has a corner booth because you're already...
It's really nice.
You know, our booths were, I think they were like exactly 6 feet apart from each other. So
nice.
Yeah, corner booth. People can come around the sides and everything. It is awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, that was pretty nice. The best-selling item was spoon rests. I sold, I think, 28 spoon rests. Those small items, man, they pile up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I've got the farmer's market this Wednesday, which is tomorrow, and then coming to farmer's market Saturday, another farmer's market the week after. So I got a few shows left this year to finish off. And I just looked at my sales for where I'm at for the year. Yeah. I think I'm going to hit what I targeted to hit for the whole year.
What is it?
So I was targeting to sell, selling, including teaching and all that stuff, $50,000. Right now I'm at, I want to say 44, I think.
Fuck yeah.
So, and that's before, for anybody out there, that's before you remove shipping costs on Etsy and booth fees and all the expenses that I have
gross
and all
sales.
that stuff, clay and everything. Yeah, that's
gross
just
sales.
Yeah, and I think there's taxes included in there too. So
I want to see what I'm at.
So sitting pretty right now.
Was that just on Square?
No, that's everything.
That's everything. Okay.
That's teaching, sales on Etsy, Square at shows, custom orders, gallery sales, wholesale, everything.
Everything. Do you want to hear mine?
Sure. Are we going to do a goals episode at the end of the year, by the way? That'll be interesting.
That should be interesting. Yeah, for sure. Of course we're going to do it. We've done one every year.
We've done one time.
Right. Every year.
But, yeah, every year. All right.
Um,
All right,
my
what you
net
got?
sales.
Is that the right word? Net? Is that what I should have said?
Net's
Should
like
say
after
net.
taxes.
Oh, okay.
Kind of. No, it's not. No, it's not. Net's like after discounts and like gift cards and shit. And fees.
I just say collected. When I'm talking about Square, usually I'll say collected, total collected, and then
My total collected so far on Square alone is 58,000.
And that's from Paint a Pot, mystery boxes, online sales,
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. Do you do your wholesale accounts through there too?
No. No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm headed
Because
there.
wholesale goes into your QuickBooks directly. Is that how that works?
Yeah. Usually.
Okay. Yeah, so we're sitting pretty. I'm looking forward to wrapping up the end of this year. I should have some gallery checks coming in from November, I think. And usually I get a pretty big check or a couple big checks for December sales in January. So
It says that my income this year has been 66,000. That doesn't seem right. I have a lot to review.
yeah.
Yeah. I'll for sure be less than last year because of COVID, but yeah.
Yeah.
What are you gonna
All
do?
right. Should we move to a listener review?
We should. Do you want me to do that?
I can do it since you've got the question or topic for today.
Okay.
Or was I going to read a question too?
I'll read the review. Just tell me who is it by and what
Okay,
date.
do the one from 9/15. Lisa Bloom Pottery.
Okay. My favorite...
Unless you want to read my mom's. I don't want to read my mom's. If anybody reads it, you're going to have to read my mom's.
We'll read both. Lisa Bloom Pottery. Thank you, Becca and Ryan. Now I don't have to go through the trouble of having actual pottery friends. I love your podcast. It's engaging, informative, amusing, and helpful. The title was My Favorite Podcast. Podcast. Okay.
Oh,
And that was from Lisa Bloom Pottery. Thank you.
5-star. Thank you.
Okay. DM Durbin. Deidre.
Wonder who that is.
Question. Just want to say that I enjoy each and every episode. I'm not a ceramic artist or any kind of artist for that matter, but I can relate to a lot of what Ryan and Becca discuss. Their conversation banter is very refreshing. Plus, you never know what is going to come out of Becca's mouth. Wait for it. All good, of course, and often extremely valid. Especially loved the episode when she told Ryan to quit being a cheapskate and get a new, or at least newer kiln, so he could be more productive. Their friendship and realistic discussions are what make the podcast, or podcast, as Becca likes to call it. They also don't try to be know-it-alls and admit they themselves still have a lot to learn. Their guests have been fun, and it's interesting to hear different aspects of small business and how each guest got to where they are today. The struggles and setbacks as well as the rewards and successes. I look forward to listening each week for fun laughs and perhaps even more insight. Full disclosure, I'm Ryan's mom and Becca's pseudo mom, since Becca's actual mom doesn't know she has a podcast. I still am like, oh, I should probably tell her.
I mean, you're gonna see her right on your trip east.
Yeah.
You should do it then and record it.
Maybe I should. Oh, you know what we should do is we should record a podcast while I'm there. And then I'll be like,
Yeah.
Mom, come here. Guess what I'm doing?
Do it. Are you gonna be there for a couple days?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay. That'd be funny.
Yes. I will. I'm considering, I called, P.S. I called Soldner. I called Bluebird.
Oh.
And they have one wheel that he's trying to ship off to Australia or something, and it doesn't seem like it's working out. So he said, I'll call you tomorrow if it doesn't work out, and it's yours if you want it.
Where are they located? In Colorado?
Yeah, like 30 minutes away from my parents' house.
Oh, okay. That's why you're talking about stopping in. Okay.
Well, I have to stop
Gotcha.
anyway. But
Well, right.
if I didn't see my parents on the way through, I think my mom would kill me. So. We might actually all kill each other anyway during the process. So
Bring Bev with you.
oh God, we're gonna need a lot more than Bev. I might actually start smoking weed on this trip.
Drink Bev.
Drink Bev. P.S. Also, I should say, if you do want the canned wine, I did make a mimosa the other day with orange juice, and it was fucking fantastic. My coupon code is SuperPotLady20, so you get 20% off. That's not bad.
At where? Where do they go to redeem that?
Drinkbev.com, I think, yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
I texted you on Thanksgiving and was like, hey, can we get that podcast uploaded? And you're like, I'm drinking Bev right now. I might be drunk.
And I was.
If I'm going to get that up tonight.
I was, and then I forgot until 4 o'clock the next day, so.
Yeah, we got it up in time. All right. Should we go to the quick listener question, which is not actually a listener question. It's a Ryan question because we're getting short on listener questions. So send those our way. The question that I had was, what is the best pottery/business tool that you've spent no more than $20 for?
Ooh, exciting.
I can go first if you need time.
I need you to go first.
Obviously had something in mind for this. So I will say my Swingline paper cutter. I think I got that off Amazon. Because it's just so easy and efficient. I use it to chop up all of my like thank you cards that I put in every single package I give to people, the things I give to people at shows, the business cards that I print off. When I do the labels and stuff, if I need to cut those down or something, I'll use that. So it's just super efficient. So that's my quick tool that is not necessarily pottery, but I use it for the business a lot.
I've got a pottery tool that's actually less than $5. It's actually less than $2.
What is it?
It's the pizza dough scrapers from the dollar store.
Is it the one that's got the loop on the end of it?
Yeah. I use that every day. I use it every single day. I use it to scrape off my bats, and it's so handy. It's like so much better than using a rib, you know?
Yeah.
It's just so quick and easy, and I don't know. Either that or the toilet brush cleaners that I use to mix up the glaze. Those are $1 at the dollar store, too. Those were those two things pretty much revolutionized my life. When like
that scraper is like pretty rigid too, right? It's not so flexible.
Yeah, I use it to like scoot out all the clay that's on the boards. I use it to get up reclaim. I use it to scrape off my bats. I use it to clean tables with, like everything.
Yeah.
It's great.
Nice. Yeah. I use that. I use the ribs to clean off my bats. Usually they're at leather hard or something like that to clean them off.
I like to do it if you do it with the scraper or like a stiff rib, and if it's leather hard, it comes out looking like a Pringle.
Yeah. Usually I'll like do it toward me and I shave it like 3 times to get across the whole thing.
Oh, see, I only do it
like, trying to get as wide as I possibly can.
Yeah, I only do it once and I scoot it right into the bucket.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably the one that I like the most. Yeah.
Nice.
Good question.
All right. What are we talking about today?
Okay.
24 minutes into this episode.
Yeah. Well, you know, we have to be consistent. So I saw a post that somebody actually shared to their stories, and then I went and read it, and I was like, I don't know if I agree with this. And so we're going to talk about it and talk about our opinions on the matter. And somebody actually just like 20 minutes ago was like, you guys should do a podcast about this because it'd be interesting to hear your different opinions on it.
Hot off the press, people.
Hot off the 7/12 press on December 1st in 2020. Nice. Okay. So this is what it says. It's a lady and she's holding this, and I totally understand the good intentions behind this. I just don't agree with it.
Is there a caption or like the type of account that is sharing this?
Let me look. I just took a picture of it, so I thought I'd...
Whenever I see posts that people share a lot, I just go to the original post and kind of see what the intention was and like who the person is sharing it and maybe why they're sharing it.
I did for sure go to the post. And there wasn't any, like, it says my subscription, the Inspired Collective have launched. It's about a subscription thing, like a women's community, I think. So it says, choosing to not chase your creative dreams is not sensible, noble, or selfless. It's a heartbreaking waste of your potential, your magic, and your art.
Is this person an artist, by the way?
I don't know. No.
Or they're just saying, like, art in general. Not necessarily, like, art.
She's an author, storyteller, book doula, creative coach. She's got a lot of followers, so she's probably saying things that are totally worthwhile. I'm not saying she's not, and I'm definitely not saying that this isn't worthwhile. I just think that maybe towards a creative aspect, I would change it a bit.
Okay. I'm sure the comments below that post were pretty positive and 100% agree and a bunch of supportive things.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on there. I just shared it and then said my piece.
Whenever I see anybody share stuff that I think is like I don't know. I usually go to the post and go to the comments. Like that's where the gold is, I feel like. A lot of times.
I love that everybody's like, oh, this hit me so hard. And then one person's like, I love your nose ring.
Okay, can you read what it says one more time? It's somebody holding up a piece of paper, right? That says this on it. Okay.
It says, choosing not to chase your creative dreams is not sensible, noble, or selfless. It's a heartbreaking waste of your potential, your magic, your art.
Okay.
Do you want me to send you the picture of it so you can see it?
Yeah, I think I can go to your...
Well, here, I took a picture, so I'll just text it to you right now.
Okay.
Because then it won't go away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you initially found it on somebody else's, I'm guessing, that shared it, and then you went to it and went that route.
Yeah, and I totally understand that a lot of people think like this, and it is a good way of thinking, to be positive about your life and your experiences and your dreams and all those things. However, I do think that it can be potentially dangerous to tell people to follow their dreams 150%, and that it's not sensible. Like, it's not questioning whether you should do something.
It's basically saying, it seems like it's basically saying, follow your dreams or else you're sucking the life out of yourself or something.
You're wasting yourself. You're wasting yourself. Following your dreams, you're wasting yourself.
You're wasting potential if you don't follow your dreams, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you want to hear what I said?
Yeah.
This is just like me typing it really quickly, but I basically said, how many people I have known who chase their dreams, in quotes, ending in burnout or pure hate for the craft. We must evaluate what chasing our dreams looks like, because sometimes dreams can be disguised as an idea for a business, when in reality, it's ideal as a hobby. I would consider maybe instead, in quotes, evaluating your dreams and considering how your mental health will fare after 5 years. It's a sensible way to approach a larger life decision that could potentially turn your life upside down. And it might end up being okay, but it might break you down, and that's the risk. And nothing is worth your life crumbling, even a dream. End quote.
That wouldn't fit so nicely on that page, though, Becca.
I know. Yeah, it's very nicely written.
Yeah, it is.
What do you think? Do you think and let me read
I think it's totally dependent on your personality, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Your risk tolerance, your decision-making approach. You know, are you someone that's going to jump into something and say, you know, I don't have to have all the answers right now, but I'll figure it out? Or are you somebody that's more conservative with it, that needs to have ducks in a row and plans and backup plans? And,
yeah,
you know, are you somebody that's good under stress or willing to, like, roll with something when something unexpected happens? Or, you know, I think it's totally personality driven. I don't think it's as black and white to say if you're not doing something that follows your dreams, then you're not being sensible, or it's life sucking to do any work that's not your dreams.
Right. Or wasting a potential. There was one person that said something that to me. Let's see if I can find it.
Did you get a few people that replied to you besides the person that said you should talk about this on the podcast?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do think on the positive side, it could give some people that are back and forth about what decision they should be making. I think it's a confidence builder, maybe, to say maybe your dreams aren't so out of reach, but that they could be attainable. But I still think, like, the confidence can only go so far. You still need to be practical with what's possible and how you can make strides to get in that direction.
Yeah.
But you maybe not have to go 100% or 150% in that direction immediately, or else the time that you've spent not going that way is wasted.
Yeah. Fuck. I lost it. Basically, someone said that dreams aren't reality, so it, like
you never, like, even if you say this is my dream and you get to that point, it's never still a dream. Like, you're still in reality, so it's still
might not be.
It's never as ideal as what you picture it to be.
Right.
Is that kind of what you mean?
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I won't look anymore. But yeah, I think that I don't know. I just feel like.
Do you still feel the same way about it right now, sitting where you're at in relation to your business versus, 2 years ago, Becca? Or
I think that if somebody had told me, I think that if somebody had told me that 5 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, I would have totally agreed with that statement. And I think that I'm just, like, a little bit jaded, probably, towards life. But I also think that being jaded towards life, in a sense, puts a little bit perspective on, like, I'm not jaded to the point of no return. I feel like I'm jaded with an optimistic outlook on life, if that makes any sense. Like, I am very cautious moving forward, but I also am optimistic that things will all work out okay, But I also think that there's a lot of people that I see, like, newbies or whatever, and they say, follow your dreams, and you'll never, it's the same thing. Follow your dreams, and you'll never work a day in your life. Like, that's fucking bullshit. Like, there was no less true statement ever in existence. Like, if you follow your dreams, you're going to work harder than anybody else. And I think that I guess that the the reality of life is that, well, okay, no, I'm backing up a little bit. I'm frustrated that people who have worked really hard, who have made their life successful, who have made this job that other people think is their dream job, they make it, and then sometimes they flaunt it, sometimes they don't. But people see it and they get this idealistic idea of what that is, and then they shoot for that, and then they can't achieve it because maybe they're not cut out for it. You know, like I've seen people say they're going to do something and like get so excited about it, which is awesome, and you want to support them with that. And then when they do it, they fucking crash and burn. And they're destroyed. They're destroyed. And it's like worse than they were before. You know, like their mental health is completely toast. And because they put so much...
Because they're like, if I can't do something that was my dream...
What can I do?
The most enthused to accomplish. And I feel like, you know, my heart was in this so much that I was driven to do this, then...
Right.
What else can I do? And, you know, what is that back burner idea that I have to, you know, revert to? Or
yeah, and far be it from me to tell somebody not to follow their dreams. I would never do that. I just think that the way that we approach following our dreams maybe needs to be analyzed a little bit more and taken into perspective, especially because our mental health as a society has gone way down in the past couple of years, and a lot of that has to do with social media. It's like, look at all these people becoming famous on social media for nothing or for something, you know, and then everybody thinks they can do that, which is not reality.
Yeah, and you can't get past having to do the hard day-to-day stuff that may not seem as glamorous. Like, you still have to do that not so glamorous stuff in whatever, you know, dream job or whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So was your dream job 5 years ago, was it making and selling pots and people would buy it? And
it was making and selling pot on the streets. No. I think that my dream job has been comprised of other people's dreams. Also, I think that's also an issue, is that people find, you know, you see so many people, especially in leadership, that take every ounce of what you are good at and push it to the maximum possible that it could be. You know, I saw that, like, when I worked in corporate America, and when I worked in, like, well, not even corporate America, but, like, when I worked in robot America, and then when I worked in, like, small business America, that what they find out that you're good at planning and good at scheduling, and then they push that to the max and the max and the max. And, you know, people find out what you're good at, and then they implement all of these things, and they say, you're good at this, like, you should do this, like, you should do this. And then after a while, you're like, that's what I should do, like, I love doing this, you know? And it's like we're brainwashed from the beginning of, you know, when we start gaining skills of something, and that becomes our dream. But, like, is it really our dream? Like, people keep asking me what my hobby is recently, and I'm like, I don't even know if I have one. Like, what? They're like, what's your passion? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I've been doing pottery for such a long time. It's just my life.
Yeah. Is it the whole, you get better at doing a skill so that it becomes easier, and then it's just, you found the most efficient way of doing it, that it just becomes, I mean, this is my sweet spot because I just can do it mindlessly.
Right. And is there anything wrong with that?
Why should I not do that?
Right. is there anything like wrong with that? Like that's not necessarily your dream, but it's something that I've said for many years this is not my passion. Like pottery isn't, but I'm fucking good at it. I'm not gonna stop. Like,
Right.
what else would I do?
I mean, that kind of factors into what your value, right? Of what you can get paid for something that you're really skilled at that somebody else is not willing to pay. Like, they're not going to pay you to do carpentry woodworking if you don't have any skill in that. And if you did, you would get paid very little and you would not be able to survive if you didn't have skill or build your skill in that.
Yeah.
So you have to build it to a point where you have things that are desirable for someone to pay for. I guess if you're in a small business world or just out in the world just working a job, you have to have a skill set that is marketable and then willing to pay for it.
Yeah. What is your dream?
My dream?
Yeah. Do you have like a dream or like what's your passion? Is pottery your passion?
I don't know. I mean, I want to do pottery full time someday. I mean, I guess that's
so
my
yeah.
dream
So that's your dream.
Yeah. I mean, I've got I feel like I'm tasting it little bits at a time and more.
Yeah.
The more I sell and the more in depth I get with making a larger line of work and finding more customers and shipping more work out and doing that kind of thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the 10 year down the road Ryan looks like, or 15 down the year Ryan looks like. I mean, that's the career side of it, I guess.
Well,
but
I think that I feel like you're really
I mean, there's like personal sides of it too, of like, what do Rachel and I want to be doing? Like, we'd like to have another house somewhere that we can go to and enjoy traveling there for a month or a couple months out of the year or something.
Yeah.
And be able to still, being able to make enough work that I can, go somewhere else and make in a different city or something for a couple months and enjoy that area during the winters or something while it's kind of meh here. But, still have the benefits of being able to travel and have money not be as big of an issue.
So would money would need to be like, you would need to be making more money, like passive income, right? More like
Or
passive.
I would have to have saved enough money from working a 6-figure job for 10 or 15 years so that I have enough money that I can confidently make pottery and sell enough pottery.
Yeah.
To make it worth it. But also have money like invested to where it'll keep saving money over the long term.
Right. Residual. Yeah. I feel like you're a really good example of somebody who does find like your quote unquote dream, and you
I don't feel like I have to be 100% in it, or else my life is getting sucked away from me because I'm not doing it full time.
Yeah.
Because I'm also not that mindset. Like, I'm super conservative with the money side of it. So I'm not going to say, okay, I have a runway of, like some people would go all in. I mean, you had a runway of, what'd you say? $3,000 or something?
Huh?
When you first jumped in, you were like, how much do you have in your savings?
It's 6.
6,000. Okay. I have way more than that in savings, but I'm not going to jump ship to do pottery full time because I'm like, this is my passion. Like, I want to do this someday. So I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm not like hey, I've got 12 months of a runway, or I've got, 18 months of a runway, but also have, a mortgage and other stuff.
You're a planner.
Yeah, I'm definitely a planner. and I want to like make sure that I make the most educated decision with all of the variables accounted for before I jump all in, or else I'm going to be super stressed and not enjoy it as much.
Yeah. I do think that you were an extremely good example of that. Like, of the idea of like, hey, this is my goal, and excuse me. And this is how I am going to get to that goal. Like, I have a plan on how to get there, and this is my quote-unquote dream, but I'm also very aware that that dream takes time. And so, to the outside, it might look like you're prolonging that dream. However, you have, like, got it down to a kind of like not a science, but like an expectation.
Yeah.
What?
I know what to, I definitely know what to expect by the time I make that decision. I'm not jumping off a cliff with a parachute hoping that it holds for a certain period of time.
Yeah, I've done that, and it's not, well, and like, I think that's the thing, right? Like, I think that I guess that's kind of what I was thinking of when I read this, where I was like, ugh, like, if you tell just a random person, like, go for your dreams, like, do your dreams, like, then a lot of people are like, I quit my job yesterday, I'm gonna start this business tomorrow, like, you know, it's like boom, 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 boom. Sometimes it works, but a lot of the times it doesn't, you know, which is fine. There's always life lessons within that, but that
also depends if you can roll with that. Like, can you be on the edge and say, I don't know anything about taxes, but I'm starting this business and I need to jump in, but I don't know how I'm going to, you know, keep up with, you know, do I have a space to make in? Do I have, you know, my books in order to where I can keep track of what's selling and what I'm spending money on and how I'm going to keep track of everything by the time it hits the end of the year? Do I know what I'm going to, I don't know. Am I actually going to know if I'm making a profit or not? You know, am I moving in a direction of actually maintaining what my bills are, or
are you going to be knee deep in debt by the time you're 1 year, 2 year, 3 years in, man,
or 6 months in,
even 6 months in? Yeah. Like, you know, I've also seen a lot of, you know, like we've both have, I'm sure, have seen a lot of businesses that were just like, we're going to do this. And 6 months in, 7 months in, $60,000 later, it's like, it's just, I think, especially when you jump into a dream or a goal or whatever, it's really hard to give up on that because you put so much emotional investment into it. So it's hard to be like, this isn't working. Like, and I can't make this work. You know?
Right.
Sometimes things just don't work. But yeah, like, oh God, the debt. I think about it and I'm like, God, I've gotten bailed out so many freaking times in the past 6 years. Just with different circumstances, like, weird.
You mean like where you impromptu flash sale and you get $2,000 to pay for your bills the next month, and then you're just like, okay, we're through it another month, and then we can figure out.
Yeah. Or like my grandpa died and I got $10,000 and paid off a credit card. You know, like all of these things that, like, I racked up all this debt. And I'm freaking lucky, like so lucky that I'm getting out of this whole situation debt-free, potentially.
Right.
But, like, I can't, if I hadn't sold my house, I wouldn't be out of it debt-free. You know? If I hadn't made $90,000 to sell off the house, I would have. Yeah, I
mean, you've basically had to live out of a house, like, without a home for the last 2 years or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, and This has been like weighing on my heart a little bit. And it's weird that I saw this today because it's like, I get
Is it a culmination of you getting to the end of the studio and you're getting rid of stuff and you're just reflecting a lot? Or is it a chase to that next phase of your life that you're just trying to like bookend where your last like 6 years were, 5 or 6 years?
I don't know if it's either, actually. I think that it's what it is this like this new TikTok situation. I know we talk about it a lot, but like I'm going somewhere with this. Like, I do these lives and all these kids and all these younger people, not like, you know, they're not, you can tell they're not in their 30s. They're in their 20s, their teens, they're probably even younger than that. And, you know, they're asking, like, how much is a pottery wheel? Like, I want to start doing pottery. Like, this is so cool. Like, this is such a dream job. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And I find myself being very reluctant because, like, I'm in this weird, both of us, are in this weird position where we have a little bit of authority to give advice, you know? And if we, and how, like, and I just feel that pressure, especially with like kids on TikTok, you know, like when you're like, wheels are $800. Yeah, go buy yourself a wheel. Like, go buy yourself all the things. Like, you know, that's why I always say take a class. Like, I pretty much never say buy a wheel. But it's like how, I don't know, you have like this little bit of responsibility to not push these kids into like financial situations where, you know, they buy an $800 wheel, they spend all their money on it, they try it once, they decide that it's not what for them, you know? And that's also why we always push classes, you know, because then at least you can try it. But
you can do all that without spending a bunch of money.
Yeah,
you can spend $100 for a number of weeks, or you can spend like $30 to do it one time for.
Right, and I think that's why we do that, but it's just this weird, like, responsibility that we have, and this, like, weird sense of, like, oh my gosh, like, how many people am I influencing to make decisions about things that they know nothing about, you know?
But I don't think they take it that seriously when they're saying something like that.
I'm sure they don't.
I don't think I think you might be taking it as you're starting them on this path, but maybe they're just trying to learn something new.
No, I know that, and that's why I say, like, take a class. Like, it's not that big of a deal, but right. Like, it's not even that. It's just the fact that we, as people with voices, have influence on other people, you know, and like, they listen, like, people listen, and that's kind of scary. It's scary that people listen.
We need to, like, talk to some people that are. I was thinking about this a couple weeks ago. There was somebody that actually wrote me on Instagram and came by the studio. That was, I think she's working in corporate America or something, and she's wanting to do pottery, and she was showing me some of her pieces and getting her studio set up and kind of getting the groundwork to start selling in shows and stuff, and kind of getting my feedback and asking questions. Mm-hmm. And she was super reluctant to, like, she's like, I know you're really busy. I don't want to take any more of your time. I was like, I would honestly talk to you for like 3 hours if you wanted to ask me questions. Like, I would answer whatever questions you have. Like, you can just hang out with me and ask me questions for 2 or 3 hours while I'm in the studio. Like, I don't care. But I think it'd be interesting to get some perspective on somebody that's at a really early stage, and almost like live coaching of, like, what kind of questions do you have, and, like, do you know about this, or, like, what do you...
Right.
Because I think there's a lot of people that are in that position.
Yeah.
And we can only speak to what we're experienced in, what we've gone through, what we have strength in, what things that have caught us up in the past that we've had to figure out.
Yeah.
That maybe nobody else told us about, but we kind of either stumbled into it or had to do our research to find out. I mean, a lot of social media, I just put a lot of stuff out, and if people ask me questions or comment, like, I'll reply, but I don't know how much they're taking
Into
my
account,
advice
yeah.
or seeing what I'm doing and saying, oh, well, he's doing this, so I'm going to do this.
Yeah. I think also on top of like what I was talking about before too, I have just recently gone through 2 people that potentially wanted to buy my studio and backed out for almost the same reason. And thankfully, they did back out, because I think that if they didn't and they hadn't, that they would have regretted it in the future. And, you know, it was just like a...
Is it like not knowing what they're getting themselves into?
Yeah.
Because of all the responsibilities of
what
actually goes into owning a studio?
Yeah, and like the first, they were a little bit different, but like the first one, you know, they just realized it was just a bit more than they could bite off, and the building, well, the building was an aspect in both, but you know, it was a lot bigger than they thought that it would be. And then the second one, you know, one of the people, it was a married couple. One of them would eventually want to like quit their job and do it full time. And and it, you know, it's a significant amount of money that they're investing already, and then realizing that, oh my gosh, like this isn't going to happen as fast as we think. Like, you know,
was one of them going to run it full time and the other one was going to do it on the side?
No,
so they would both do it full time?
One of them was going to run it full time, and then the other one was going to go back to like full time work that they did.
Okay.
And I think it was like, you know, I had mentioned, because I'm friends with them, so like we had dinner before, and I was like, well, you know, it's going to take a couple years to get to a profit. It's like that's the way business works. Like, you're going to be in the negative. You're going to be in the red a little bit. That's reality.
Yeah.
And I think that was when it kind of hit it. It was like, oh, I don't know if we can do this, you know? And
that was just to get the ground floor to buy all the equipment is basically what they were getting. They were getting the skeleton of the studio, and then they could build out the class structure and actually selling that way to make money. But
right. And I mean, like, you could work it so it is profitable, but you know, it does take a lot of work to get to that point, and it does take time. And I think that's the thing that nobody thinks about. Like, you think, there's a lot of people that are instantly very profitable. You know, we've had many of those people on the podcast, but that's not always the case. And I think that when you're looking at a dream or a goal or potentially a life change, that's not going to be your first thought, you know? And then once it does happen, you're like, oh, what do I do now?
Is it also that this medium is not cheap to do?
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
a lot of costly equipment and intricate parts of the process.
Yeah. You can make it pretty cheap, but it's still never going to be super cheap. It's never going to be painting, you know?
That's what I always go back to. I'm like, you pay for a canvas and you pay for some paints. How much can you be in for that?
I mean, you can pay a lot in brushes and stuff. I mean, painting's still kind of expensive, but still, even compared to that expense, clay is astronomical comparatively. But yeah.
Also, I feel like you hear more of the follow your dreams from younger people that are I mean, I think it's more idealistic, right?
Yeah.
They're being positive and idealistic, and you know, go for your dreams, like do something you love over something that's practical maybe, or that is going to be marketable or whatnot.
I wonder if that
I mean, some of that goes with experience too. The more you're in a long-term relationship and you have somebody that they're relying on you for bills, and
Yeah.
you're married and you have commitments there, and you have
kids and
a home, or you have kids, or
right.
bills, a car payment, all of that stuff.
So here's a question. Okay, most people that are telling you to follow their dreams are, we'll just say 35 and under. Okay? Right? And
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Under 40. Okay? And then the over 40. Now, of those two groups, which group is happier? Right? Like, I know we can't answer this, but like, and there's also two different types of people in this world. Somebody that can have a content and happy life doing mundane tasks, like having a weird job or whatever. Like they're a garbage man and they're like, whatever, it's just a job. And then they have a great life on the side. And then there's other people that have to have a good job in order to have a great life. Right?
Or else they don't feel fulfilled in the 40 hours a week that they spend doing a job or whatnot.
Right. And I would argue that the older generation was pushed in the direction of it doesn't matter what you do as long as you have a happy life. Or even not. A lot of the older generation is kind of miserable, I feel like.
I feel like the older generation would be more likely to do something to support your family first and foremost.
Yeah.
I don't know how that looks today for new parents, but I mean, I'm not a parent, so I don't know.
Right.
Right now, I'm not like a 30-something parent that is, deciding what job to do or leaving a job or thinking about a side business and providing for their family.
Right. I just wonder, like.
I mean, that's how my parents were.
That's how my parents were.
My dad's worked in the same job for 35. I don't even know how long. The same job since I was a child, since I was born.
Yeah.
I think he's worked the same job since I was born. And my mom has worked in that same field. She's changed jobs a few times, but it's still in the financial field. And I don't feel like I was raised talking about what are your dream jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I
I've never
actually asked them, is that your dream job? What was maybe that'd be a good conversation. We should have talked about that over Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that would have been a good.
That would be good to talk with parents about, what was your dream job and where did you picture yourself when you were my age?
And do you regret anything about, or not regret, but like, are you happy with how it resulted?
I would say they would say they're definitely happy with it, because I would say they're happy about the way that my brother and myself turned out.
Yeah.
And that we're to a state where we can have our family and spouses and, the life that we build for ourselves, which I think is what parents appreciate and what they want from their children, right? And, we got to spend time with, playing sports and going out to travel and go on vacations and spend time together, play games. That's why when we go home and we see them, we spend time together, we play games together.
Yeah.
And do that kind of thing. So I would say whatever job they picked made it worth it because of all those times that they had with us as a family.
Yeah. You would hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting because, like, I would also argue that maybe the people that are saying follow your dreams are in the demographic of single and or single married, no kids. With a lot less there's a lot less risk in not achieving that dream, Mike Rowe always says
everybody's risk tolerance is different too, right? I mean, I'm talking about like the conservative approach of planning and all that, but the risk is definitely a solo endeavor, right? You know, what are you willing to do with, you know, with some of the COVID stuff, the whole risk tolerance of deciding to what you're going to commit to doing, whether it's in the business part of like, are you going to sell at shows or not? Are you going to go out and shop in person? Are you going to go to the grocery store? Are you going to, you know, having a certain tolerance for risk and like, you know, if it's uncertain out there, what are you willing to put on the line and chance?
Yeah. Can I read you this quote from Mike Rowe?
Sure.
I love him.
I haven't listened to his podcast in forever. I used to listen to his The Way I Heard It podcast. Have you heard that?
I haven't heard it. I should listen to it.
It's little 10-minute stories, and it's usually a story about somebody popular in history or pop culture or whatever, and it's about their, like a story about their life that you didn't know that's who it was, and then at the very end he reveals who it is, and you're like, oh, okay.
Okay.
But it's scripted and he narrates it and he's got a great voice, but it's 10 minutes or less and it's pretty entertaining.
Cool.
All right, so what's the...
Okay, and this is obviously, Mike Rowe's obviously in our parents' demographic of life. But I do feel like this is something to be heard. Okay, he says, stop looking for the right career and start looking for a job. Any job, forget about what you like, focus on what's available. Get yourself hired, show up early, stay late, volunteer for the scut work, become indispensable. You can always quit later and be no worse off than you are today. But don't waste another year looking for a career that doesn't exist. And most of all, stop worrying about your happiness. Happiness doesn't come from a job. It comes from knowing what you truly value and behaving in a way that's consistent with those beliefs.
I like that.
I do too.
Now just got Gary V quotes floating around in my head.
No, I feel like that's... We're old,
so that's
maybe.
That's kind of he's kind of saying get your experience and don't be so focused on your full happiness of, am I happy 100% of my time? If not, then...
Well, I think your job is so external. Like, your happiness comes from within. Like, you could have the best job in the entire fucking world and be miserable. You know?
Right.
And I think that it's all self-reflectant of, you know, like, whether... Like, don't follow your... Like, follow your dreams. What is your dream? And, like, is... Maybe your dream shouldn't be a job. Like, your dream shouldn't be a specific thing. Maybe your dream should be to be freaking happy. And to be, like, content with your life. And how that happens. Maybe that's...
Yeah, maybe it's, hey, I want to be able to travel on a vacation once a year for a week.
And how does that happen? Like... when you said that about travel, I was thinking about Andrew, my best friend, and how he has always wanted to be a flight attendant. And the reason he's always wanted to be a flight attendant was because he really wants to travel. And as we know, Rachel is a flight attendant, and she likes to travel. Anyway, so he's always wanted to do that, and he... was talking to somebody who is very wealthy, and he was like, is the reason you want to be a flight attendant because you want to be a flight attendant, or is it just because you want to travel? And he was like,
it's a means to an end.
He's like, I just want to travel. And he goes, then why don't you just get a really good job that pays you really well so you can travel?
Make enough money that you can travel, yeah.
Yeah, and so I feel like there's always two ways to go about an issue, you know?
I mean, there's like a million ways to go about that issue. Or that aspiration.
Yeah. But you just have to look at it like, and figure out how to get there. I don't know if there's any. I don't know if we've actually answered any questions. We're just kind of having like a philosophical conversation.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a little old school in that regards. I'm like, but I think that I live my life that way too. Like, I don't really have a dream, and I can be content doing whatever. I can scoop dirt.
I think you can kind of go into it a certain way, too. No matter what you're doing, you can think of a positive way that you can get something out of it as well.
Yeah.
If you're working a crappy job, you can still find time, potentially, outside of the job to do something you enjoy to move you toward a direction you want to be. Or you can, if you have downtime and you're just have no commitments and you're working retail or something and you have time to be on your phone or do something else while you're waiting.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of job somebody's doing, but if you have downtime that you could be dedicated to something else, spend that time wisely.
Yeah. I do, however, and I firmly believe this, think that too many people try to make, we'll just keep it simple as pottery. I do believe that too many people try to make pottery a full-time career when their happiness, like they were and are happy doing it part-time, and they aren't fully aware of what full-time means, you know? Like a lot of people that, you know, do it for therapy or for, like, PTSD or something like that, and then they're like, I'm gonna make this a career, and then they totally fuck it up. Like, it just fucks them up.
It's like, do you like marketing? Do you like selling
right.
stuff?
There's, like, so much.
Do you like being a salesman?
Yeah.
Do you like bookkeeping?
Do you like sleeping?
Do you like knowing your next paycheck is going to be in your bank account on this day?
Do you like the bartering system? I certainly do. Ugh. I'm a little scared about moving to Indiana and not having my connections. I have free cake here. And free pizza. Cake and pizza.
Yeah, you're giving that up.
I'm giving it up. Yeah.
But I was thinking about the Gary Vee stuff. He gets questions from younger people all the time. And his perspective would be, you're single, you don't have any commitments. If you're going to make a dumb decision and a quick decision, like,
do it now.
Do it now, because you don't have, what's a year out of your life when you're 24 versus when you're 34?
Yeah, for sure. I had a teacher tell me that when I was in high school. I was like, I don't know if I want to go to college for, you know, for this or whatever. And he was like, who cares? If you don't like it, just change. It's just a year. It's just a year.
Unless you're taking on debt for a year studying something that you shouldn't be studying, and it's going to increase your...
But even then we shouldn't, at that point, we shouldn't let the money like that, like, trap us into a situation that we hate. You know? How
much do you think the deciding what your college major should be, like...
I don't think they should make them decide their major until year 2, but that's just what I think.
Yeah, I'm curious how many people decide what their major is going to be with the intention of it going toward a dream job. Or, I don't know. I mean, the way that I picked mine was I went the IT field because I knew there was demand in the market for it. And I knew I could make good money at it.
And you were smart.
Money at it. And I was skilled enough in that area and technical and detailed to be able to do that work.
Yeah.
And did some like internships or side jobs leading up to graduation. And I did the pottery on the side as a minor because I knew I wanted all of the equipment and benefits you get at a college of ceramics, firing in gas kilns and wood kilns and raku kilns and getting all that kind of experience that you can't get at just a local studio for the most part.
Right.
But also got a minor in it. So, I would say I basically had that dream when I started college.
Yeah.
And I was 18 years old. But I don't know how many people have that
foresight
and what they want to do at 18 years old.
Oh, for sure. I had no idea. I didn't even know what an architect was when I was 18. Like, I knew that people, like, made buildings, but, like, I didn't know. If I would have been an architect or an industrial designer or something. I had such a sheltered existence before I went to college. And I wish that I had, like, I wish there was, like, this weird college, like, what's the thing between heaven and hell? Not earth, but the other
Limbo.
one. Limbo. I wish there was, like, college limbo where they're like, this is everything that you could do. I guess that's community college.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, you almost need to work for somebody that's free labor in the field that you want to do and see what it's like and talk to them and understand what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, I didn't decide that I wanted to be a potter until after college. Like, I did pottery.
After you already did pottery in college?
Yeah, I did pottery in college, and I was just like, I'm good at this. Like, why would I not do it? And it was fun, like, I like the mechanical aspects of it, the engineering aspects, all that stuff. But I've been always, I grew up in a blue collar family. Like, my dad worked overtime. He worked 60 hours a week. He, my mom, like, was a stay-at-home mom and until high school, and then she worked at the school. But, like, it was never about what do you want to do. It was just about how are you going to be successful, And I went to college fully knowing, and then when I changed my major to fine art, I was like, oh, I'm just going to work at a bank and do art on the side. Like, I already know that. Like, this, like, by year 3, I was like, this degree is useless. I already know this, And
what did you get your degree in?
Fine art. I started with graphic design my first year, and then I changed it over to fine art, I think, year 2. I could have double majored, but I wouldn't have been able to graduate in 4 years, and I didn't like school that much.
Yeah.
But
I mean, what's the benefit of the double major? Anyways, you get, I don't know.
Yeah, I hit web
some
design,
of these
and I was like,
triple majors,
peace,
concentration,
I'm out.
And
yeah, I just
like,
really.
How beneficial is that once you get past your graduation? That's kind of like how important is GPA once you graduate from college. Like,
who cares?
Nobody cares once you get your first job, I guess, because you don't have any experience before your first job.
Right. But, like, so I had just fully expected to just have a regular run-of-the-mill job and then just do pottery or art on the side. And then when I started taking classes at Bruning, I saw him and I was like, at this point, I'd already been working at Sherwin-Williams. I was working at Sherwin-Williams. I hadn't moved to Amesbury's painting yet. And, I'd seen the big business. I had a little understanding of how business worked. And then when I saw him doing what he was doing, and I was like, oh, I could do this. And I could be okay doing this, And, like, I remember there was, like, this moment. I was at Bruning, and I was like, I'm going to do production pottery. And, like...
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, this is my dream. It was just like, oh, this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
Like, it presented itself to me. I didn't go searching for it. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of those situations are what opportunities do you provide for yourself? Or how do you get into situations and, your work ethic and get to a point where you have opportunities presented to you that you can actually take action on?
Yeah.
And have confidence in what you're going to like the trajectory you're taking.
Confidence is key too. Have you seen that movie Moneyball?
Oh my gosh, I fucking love that movie.
I
watched that movie. I watched that movie like 8 times. I freaking love it. I love the analytical
Oh
part
my
of
God.
it. That it's baseball. It's like my second favorite baseball movie.
Oh yeah, okay.
I
so
love that movie.
I hadn't seen it, and
see?
I hadn't seen it, and I saw it on Netflix, and then Val was like, I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this or not because I don't really like I like Brad Pitt, but I was like, I don't know, and I love baseball movies. I don't know why I didn't really want to watch it. Something inside of me was like, Becca, don't watch this.
What's your favorite baseball movie?
I know what yours is. And I'm like,
I just said it.
Well, Moneyball, but like, what's your first favorite? You said that was your second favorite. It's Field of Dreams.
Oh,
Yours has to
Field
be
of
Field of
Dreams.
Dreams. Obviously.
It's Field of Dreams.
It's obviously Field of Dreams. Let's be real. Anyway.
Freaking gets me in the end every time.
Every time.
Playing catch with his dad. Like,
every time you have to cry during that part.
Oh, God. All right.
Okay. Anyway. I do like the League
League of
Their Own was really good. Anyway, okay,
Yeah.
Moving on. So I was at Val's house, and I was like, I don't know about Moneyball, and she's like, Becca, you would love Moneyball, and I was like, okay. So I started watching.
Didn't you?
Yeah, I started watching it the other day, and I texted her, and I was like, this is basically my dream movie. And she's like, I know. It's all about analytics and, like, how they totally, defied a system and like...
Just optimized it versus just feel.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
just, like,
yeah.
scouts what the feel of a person's skill set is and their worth versus, what do the numbers tell you
exactly,
of
like,
their production.
They took... baseball, which has traditionally been about feeling and about confidence and about all of these things, and then about like their actual skill, and then flipped it a 180 and went, okay, what's his average and what's his numbers and what's this, and it didn't work
Built
at
a
first.
recipe of getting a certain number of hits and runs from this guy and then piecing it together with this guy.
Yeah.
And then they're undervalued of, they have little things that they aren't as good at so that they're undervalued so that they could buy them cheaper.
Right.
Because they didn't have a lot of money to
Because they didn't have money.
So
yeah, and I was just watching it and I was like, wow, it's amazing, and like how they were talking about how, at the beginning, and they were like, you have to have confidence and all these things, but confidence can have, like, if somebody is innately, like, naturally confident, they can succeed under any circumstance. They can succeed because they literally cannot accept
they will find
defeat.
a way.
They will find a way. But in the right circumstance, an underconfident person, less confident person, will succeed when they're surrounded by a team that supports them,
Right.
And so, yeah, I just thought. Anyway, that's on Netflix. If you want to watch it, it's free on Netflix.
I'm gonna watch it again. I mean, I love watching it.
I'm gonna have to watch it again too, because I like watched it in 3 sections because I was like doing different things. But yeah, I was thinking about that, and then like just everything has to line up correctly in order to make things happen successfully,
Right.
I have cat paw prints on my computer.
So what is your with the next phase of you moving? What is the next? I don't want to say dream, but like
my goal?
What? Yeah, like what's your goal, or like what are you hoping to get out of?
I don't want to make any more handles ever again. That's a goal.
Don't want to make any more handles.
I was thinking about that, and I was like, God, if I could get through my life.
Is that because you've had your breakage the last few months?
I've had so many handles crack in half, like snap right in half at the bend. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it's It's so
The
infuriating.
mugs you made here didn't crack, but
I know.
yeah, that's frustrating when you're using the same clay that you've always used and it all of a sudden is not doing what you're used to it doing.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I'm doing the same thing I've always done. What's going on?
Yeah, like what's it just like snaps right in half. It's like it's short clay straight out of the bag. That's what's frustrating. But anyway, I didn't expect to get a studio so soon. Did I tell you about that?
You did, but you didn't talk about it on the podcast.
So me and Dusty, he's a production potter for Rebecca, are splitting a studio, and it's 1,000 square feet. He sent me pictures of it today. It looks really cool. Or yesterday. It's 1,000 square feet, and we're kind of like combining forces, and just not combining forces, but like, it's like cheap for both of us to use, and if he'll get his rent, and I'll pay my rent, and it's like $450 a month for me. I'm like, if I can't make $450, what am I even doing?
So you got to make your studio rent and your apartment rent, and then groceries and stuff, and you're all set.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and
does all of that add up to more than what you would have with the studio right now?
Oh, no. Not even close. Like, what, groceries is like, what, $200 a month? And studio rent would be $450, and regular rent's $1,000. That's only like $1,650. My rent at the studio right now is $1,800. And I'll have a regular job.
Oh.
like I'll even and the potential of having a studio that is almost all profit instead of almost all expenses.
Yeah, because it's only $450 you've got to cover. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because are you going to have that $450 that's covered by your personal pot making stuff versus your day job stuff?
Right. Because I'd like to save some money, invest a little bit more, and potentially buy some property, do some property investment. Yeah, because me and Rebecca were talking about it. She's like, I was like, I'm going to have a lot of extra money. And she's like, what am I going to do with it? And she's like, invest in property, duh. We'll see. I might just invest in stocks. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what the goal is. I think that the goal is to find contentment within pottery again, like to not feel like I have to do things, to do things on my own time, because now I feel like I have to do stuff. And of course, it's gonna keep going. I have a few orders already that I have to do after I get to Indiana. So, but
that's good. I'm happy to hear that you got a studio, because I was thinking, oh, she's gonna get to Rebecca's and she's gonna get in the groove of making for Rebecca, and then
stop.
You're gonna spend your evenings doing, getting away from the studio.
Yeah. You're correct.
And we'll see how, because you're also gonna have to do the adjustment of moving,
Yeah.
And getting into a new city and all of that. But
yeah, and so I think that I'm just gonna have to learn how to be content and to be bored a little bit, and I'm gonna
feel like you're starting the business over.
I guess, kind of. I'm starting a business, but I have a lot of stuff behind me to help me out. I'm not starting from scratch. But, I'm not showing up there with any pottery at all. And I'm just showing up there with equipment. So I'm trying to get the
old... You gotta get new clay and everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like new... Yeah, thank fucking God. New clay and...
Putting this clay behind me.
New clay, and maybe I'll actually get to, like... And I was talking to Andrew about, like, maybe I'll do just a few glaze colors. I don't know, maybe I'll just do the painted mugs, too. I could just do, like, the ones that I enjoy doing,
Yeah.
But I will keep my current wholesale clients on.
I mean, yeah, that's good, consistent income if you're willing to ship it and get it out there, you know?
Yeah. So, and that's just like, whatever. And like, that's like 60 plates every 2 months, whatever, who cares? Like hand-built plates, not thrown.
Yeah.
Yeah. And little stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of excited. But I do like the idea of, I mean, I don't want to let Dusty down, obviously, but I do like the idea that, like, anything is up for grabs, Like, anything could happen. I could just stop doing pottery on my own altogether, if I really wanted to.
And would that be such a bad thing? You have a job that's making money and it's paying your bills.
And it's doing pottery, so, like...
And you're doing pottery, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, would that be such a bad thing? Like, would it be a bad thing to maybe have, like, a life or have a hobby or like... I don't know. Yeah.
Have the freedom to do something outside of...
Yeah.
Clay.
Yeah, so... Because, like, Krista, who works in Rebecca's studio that makes the jewelry, I really want to learn how to make glass jewelry. Like, so bad. And so I'm going to ask her if she'll, like, I can be her unpaid intern or something. Ooh. But, yeah, so, like, there's a few things that I really want to do. Like, and there's, like, a leather shop, and I kind of want to do, like, leather stuff a little bit, and... try that stuff out. Like, I'm thinking about how much weird shit I did in college and how fun it was just to learn all that stuff and to, like, be excited about learning something new. And I haven't done that in years. So.
Yeah. Do you think there's something that goes into, like, if you try out the leather stuff or the beads, glass stuff, because your attention to detail when even if you're trying something new, that you always have this in mind that it needs to be to a certain quality.
Oh, yeah.
That is sellable or something like that.
Absolutely.
That there's an expectation that you will need to, like, make it sellable because you can't use everything. Or the quality needs to be to a level that it's good enough, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I think that in that case, I don't know if I would want to do, like, production, like leatherwork. There's a guy that does leather out there, and I was like, maybe I could just be his unpaid labor too, because it's really, I just want to learn how to do the craft. It's not about selling. It's more about, like, learning new techniques and, like, and finding things that are enjoyable to do. So
yeah, I mean, some people got into that in fabric when COVID hit because they were making masks, and I think Jason Burnett was making stuff and using sewing and whatnot when COVID hit, and he's been working in textiles the entire thing of COVID,
Right.
And not in clay, but he's taking some of the aspects of the graphical parts and integrating them into the textiles and still doing screen printing on them and, sewing it. And then I think Heidi was making masks that were kind of different looking, and I think Jen Allen was doing some of those. So you kind of get a taste in another medium, and it's not first and foremost like, how do I sell this and how do I make it profitable? It's more like, let me taste it a little bit and see what happens.
Yeah.
And if people like it, then maybe I'll have some to sell. If I do, cool. If not, then I just am enjoying doing it, and I'll gift some of them.
Yeah. I'm just mostly excited about having a regular job. I haven't had a regular job in a long time, And, I mean, maybe I'll hate it. Maybe I won't. Who knows? But, like, that stability is just really exciting to me. And, as we had mentioned, I'm really excited to eat, like, lunch and dinner at a regular time. And,
and you're fine with coming in and there's a list for you of telling you what you need to get done that day?
I like lists. Yeah.
And not necessarily something that you had to make and you had to put time into thinking ahead of, like, what do I need to get finished by the end of this week?
Right.
It's more like Rebecca figures that out.
Yeah.
And she's telling you what you need to do.
Yeah.
To help her reach that.
Totally. The one thing that I'm not not to be confused, I'm not concerned about this, but I am, however, cautious about it, is the fact that me and Rebecca are such good friends. And I have seen many friendships go to shit because they've gone into business together. And so, and it's not like we're 20, you know, she's 50, I'm 30. So, like, we have boundaries already, but, like, I am cautious of the fact that we are such good friends and then we will be working together and I will be under her. And I want to make sure that I am always, like, you know, I think it'll be good.
You're her employee when you're in the building, and
Correct.
when you're in certain situations, you're speaking as Becca.
Yeah. And, like, and obviously I am coming in with a fair amount of expertise. You know, I'm not an idiot, but, like, you know, so I just want to make sure that I don't step over any lines, you know, and that it's a fair and equal.
And you're also new to the studio. There's a lot of other employees that have worked for her for a number of
like, I'm the new man coming
months,
in.
years,
I'm like the newbie. So yeah. It's helpful that, I know this sounds really stupid, but it's helpful that Dusty is such a better thrower than I am. Like, he's so much better than I am. So it's like I'm not coming in with, like, super, super high expectations. So that's really great. C's good degrees. But yeah, it is helpful.
I think that's kind of good for you, though, right?
Yeah, super good.
Getting into a pool of people, whether you are the best in the pool or kind of the middle or the low end of the pool, that it drives you to do better. Or
right. Lots
you know, if you're at the top of it, what's going to drive you and motivate you to do better?
Right.
If you're setting the bar. Yeah.
And there's so much to learn. And also another thing I'm really excited about is that Rebecca has a lot of the equipment that, so, like, if you don't follow what I do, I try to make everything as streamlined and as fast and as efficient as possible. That's been my game plan since day one. You know, that's why I make bisque molds. That's why I make, like, you know, my bat system. Like, all those things are just different ways that I can kind of do stuff. And so, like, we're already scheming, like, ribs that'll make things, you know, proportionally correct for, like, throwing, and, like, how to make it faster in production and stuff like that. So I'm really, really excited about making tools that make everybody's life easier and more consistent. You look like you're falling asleep.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I don't usually go to sleep until like 1 o'clock at least.
Okay. You're just
it's
slow.
Only midnight.
You were slow blinking. So that is exciting. I'd love to get on the more engineering end of pottery, you know, even if that's what the studio space is for building different, like, items and tools that can help the process.
Like, I'm thinking of, when I think of that, I'm thinking of the jigs and stuff that people make for the, like, plaster molds and stuff.
Totally. Yeah, I just feel like, you know, there's got to be tools that we can use that you don't have to buy a whole jig and you don't have to buy the whole plaster mold. There has to be, you know, like Sunset Hill or whatever stoneware in Wisconsin. They have, like, ribs that are, like, exactly the right height for their mugs, so that make sure that all of their production potters are throwing the exact same height, you know? And I would love to tour their facility. They also make their own wheels, which is really cool.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So cool.
Maybe we can make some visits to studios in person to do some interviews in the future.
That would be so cool. We should reach out to them and see if we can go up there. That'd be so cool.
Where'd you say it was? Wisconsin?
It's in Wisconsin.
You visit Andrew Linderman.
Yeah. I think it's in Milwaukee, actually. I'm not sure. But
he's in Milwaukee, too.
He's in Milwaukee. I think it might be. But, yeah.
How's that new phone treating you?
It's okay. It's fine. It's just a fucking phone. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
No, I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, like, it's big, which is good, I guess. The videos quality is good. The battery life is great. There's a few other things that I like, but I'm increasingly underwhelmed with the iPhones and what they give you the next time, you know?
You mean it wasn't the money that you paid for? It wasn't enough value above what you already had that it was like, I had to get this, and I can't believe I waited so long to get another phone or something like
Correct. However, I do feel like the money was worth it in the sense that, not really worth it, but in the sense that it will last a while. You know? It'll last a good long while. So at least that's that. And yeah, I mean, I'm
happy if my phone lasts me 3 to 4 years. I mean,
yeah. The other one lasted me 2.5. So, I mean, it was a fair amount of time. It's not like I buy a brand new phone every year. This was a pretty significant purchase. But did I regret buying it when I found out that I had to pay $3,000 to fix my car? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But
you bought that like right before.
Yeah, but TikTok is paying for this phone. So, there's that.
Not directly, but
indirectly, they are paying for the phone. So,
because of the content that you produce on TikTok.
Correctly.
So you are paying for the phone
by
your content
by
that
my
you're
content
getting paid for.
From TikTok. And I've made $800 so far. So,
do you ever wonder where you would be without
social media? That I feel like that would be a whole new episode. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
And do you ever think about where you'd be?
I don't think I mean, what would I be doing with
all social media, right?
How would I even get close to like reaching my dream, I guess, of the pottery side of it without social media?
Right.
I would be going to art shows and advertising for art shows on Facebook. I mean, Facebook was already a thing, but Instagram was not a thing when I was just getting into pottery.
Right.
It wasn't. I don't know when it started, but it wasn't a thing when I was in college. It was after college.
It was right at the end of college, actually, I believe.
I think it was like 2015 was my first post, but it was probably there before that, a couple years. But
I don't
think I could reach the audience and have the number of customers I have remotely. I would be putting stuff on Etsy and nothing would sell.
Yeah. I would be fine-ish. I'd be fine-ish. And the reason I say that is because the majority of my customers that I started with were at church. Mm-hmm. Like, I had a community that, before, Instagram founded 2010.
I feel like 2010, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Instagram and Facebook or social media is like an accelerator.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For the business.
But I'll tell you what, I feel like the people that are real winners are the ones that have never been on Facebook and that can sell their shit. Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah, I mean they know how to sell.
Like, those are the old school
potters.
That's a skill
in and of itself.
Yeah, those are the old school potters that have the quality, the quantity, the means to sell. We're not including email lists though, because those guys still do email lists.
And I wonder how they're doing with COVID hitting.
They're probably fine.
Are they fine? Okay. I was thinking, are they one-trick ponies and like that's what they rely on with the art shows and?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that's true. I guess that people really had to get into social media during COVID for sure.
I mean, at a minimum, have a way for people to find you remotely.
Yeah.
With a website or something.
Yeah, that's been tough. Yeah. That's true. It's crazy.
But I mean, I had no idea getting into Instagram that it's like that's going to be a huge portion of my sales and ways for me to find new galleries to reach out to. And
yeah. I feel like my Instagram and no, you know what? I would have been fine without Instagram or Facebook because I'd still be selling in Leavenworth.
We wouldn't have found each other if it wasn't for Instagram.
That's true. That's true. I'm not saying that Instagram hasn't been beneficial. I'm just saying, would I be fine? I think so.
You're just saying which one would you cut out if you had to cut one out?
If I had to cut one out, I'd cut out Instagram for sure. 100%. Facebook what makes me way more money than Instagram ever did. Instagram's just a new thing. It's like newly making me money. I've switched.
It's not about money, though, necessarily. Being on there to make money.
You're like so sad because I'd cut out Instagram and that's where we met. I was talking about...
This wouldn't be a thing, Becca. We wouldn't even have a relationship if it wasn't for Instagram.
No. I'm talking about now. If you gave me the choice now and you were like, which one would you cut out? I'd cut out Instagram. Well, maybe not now.
Okay. Now you're going back on it.
If you would have asked me before COVID, I would have said Instagram. If you asked me post-COVID, I'm going to say Facebook. Yeah.
All right.
But I would never want to cut you out, Ryan. Because now we have each other's phone numbers. So we talk.
Yes, we would have never met otherwise. We would have met at ClayCon West or something. I probably wouldn't even have went to ClayCon West.
No, you would have never gone to ClayCon West. We would, no. And yeah, no, for sure. Like Instagram. It
wouldn't have been cost effective for me to go to
How
ClayCon
weird are we?
West.
We met for the first time 2 years ago. At Ensika.
At Ensika in Minneapolis. 2018, right?
Yeah, no, 2019. Because
2 years ago.
Yeah. We're almost to March. We're like halfway to January.
I guess it was 2019. 2018 was in Pittsburgh, I guess.
Yeah. That would be like, dang. And we've seen each other a lot more since then, though, which is good.
Yeah.
He's a lot shorter in person and skinnier.
It must be the perspective of the way the height of which I hold my phone.
It must
when
be
I'm doing my stories.
In your chin.
I need to hold it more chin level.
Yeah, so that's the one thing that I thought. I felt like you always
height.
looked older, and then when I saw you in person, I was like, no, you look your age. You look exactly how old you are.
All right. Do we want to bookend this with what the actual question was, or the post was? What was the post to cap this off?
Oh, God. Well, like the actual comment that we were discussing about?
Yeah. Just to bring it all back.
Choosing to not chase your creative dreams is not sensible, noble, or selfless. It's a heartbreaking waste of your potential, your magic, and your art. I feel like, honestly, that's a true statement if you just cut out the last half. Choosing to not chase your creative dreams is not sensible, noble, or selfless. That's it. Like,
yeah.
Don't be judging me on my heartbreaking waste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And with that. I was reading it again, too.
And with that.
We're getting some questions on our posts, so that's good.
Oh, yay. Okay, well, let's sign off since we've done I thought this was going to be like an hour-long podcast, and now we're at an hour 45.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Peace!
Bye.
Hey, guys, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate it, and we're having so much fun. If you want to follow us individually on Instagram, you totally can. Ryan's Instagram handle is @RDCeramics, and mine is 5 Lines Pottery. That's the number 5. We would love to hear from you, and don't forget to write us a review on our podcast. We read every single one of them, and we totally appreciate them. They help us out an awful lot, and they also put smiles on our faces. I hope you guys continue to listen, and we love you. Thanks. Bye.